Hi everyone, Nicholas from GrowForce here. At GrowForce we help businesses with growth marketing advice, implementation and education. These are the things that we're going to talk about in the next 10 minutes. First of all, you'll learn how to create a content library model. Second, we'll talk about how to get inspired by Reddit, Quora and Facebook. And finally, we'll teach you how to create a consistent content strategy. Remember, you can use this guide to create any type of content plan for any kind of medium. It's not only dependent on LinkedIn. Cool. The first thing that I want to talk about is the difference between a library and a publisher profile. There are two types of profiles on LinkedIn. You have library people and publisher kind of people. So publishers, they really share everything. They share business content, they share funny videos, they share memes and so on. But then you have the library profiles, and they really focus on a specific niche, on a specific kind of topics that they want to talk about. So it's business posts or related posts, but only specific to a certain field that they're related to. If you would scroll down on their feed and read their post, you will get an impression like, I know what this guy is about. He always talks about these topics, this kind of content, it's valuable, and this might be interesting for me. So we think that in the long run, having a library profile is way better to score and to become a thought leader and really have that consistency within your feed. How can you become a person who has a library profile? First of all, you need to know your audience. You need to know who they are, what do they like to read, what do they consume, what do they like to see here, and so on. All of this information would allow you to create a topic cluster, which you can use later on in your strategy. But yeah, what is a topic cluster? So a topic cluster means that you have a group of smaller topics that are built around one broader topic. If you're doing this, it's easier for yourself because you can read and write stuff and see things at the same time. So here you will see an example of a topic cluster. So if you're building this one, you will think about a topic and you will see, okay, what are all other related things to that? And it doesn't need to stop with one extra thing you put out there. You can really use these new points as starting points to make a new content cluster. And if you use this brainstorming phase to make this content cluster, you will never have to ask yourself again, okay, what should I post next? Just look at your content cluster to see what are all the potential ideas, the potential things that I can talk about. Use these ones and create some very relevant content. These are some examples of topic clusters. For example, let's say LinkedIn marketing. If you talk about LinkedIn marketing, of course, there are some subtopics that you can cover. LinkedIn profile optimization, content creation, sales navigator, ads, and so on. But it doesn't stop there. You can, like I said before, you can even have subtopics for that topic. If you choose LinkedIn Sales Navigator, another subtopic could be how to use Boolean search, how to use the feed of Sales Navigator, and so on. It really helps you structure your thoughts and come up with a nice visual overview of things you can talk about. So now we will teach you how to use other social platforms to have an idea of what you can talk about. You will source ideas of already existing content on these platforms. So first of all, we're going to talk about Reddit. I'm going to show you how you can use Reddit to come up with content ideas. Reddit is actually the front page of the internet. It's a very nice place to be, but it can also be a bit scary because there are a lot of different communities. And a community on Reddit is called a subreddit. And within that community, all the people that are very knowledgeable about a certain topic, they will come together and start conversations about that topic. They will share interesting links, they will share text posts, people will start commenting on it, people will start engaging on it. So these subreddits are an interesting way to see what these people interested in a certain topic are really talking about, what they're thinking about, and maybe even what you should write about. So in our example, we're interested in marketing subreddits because we want to source some marketing information to write stuff about. So we will go on Reddit and we will try to find the marketing subreddits. So we just, on the homepage of Reddit, we will just type marketing. See here, you will see some different subreddits. You can select the subreddits about marketing that might be interesting for you. Select some of those, save some of those, get back to these ones. The more subreddits you select, the more information you can get afterwards. Within those subreddits, if you go into that subreddit, you will see that there are thousands of people talking about this topic. I would advise you, if you dive in there first, just just sort on the popular ones, take the ones that are the last months had the most upvotes, the most comments, really check these ones and see what are the most popular ones, what are people talking about, and don't forget the comment section. Because actually there's often a lot of gold in the comment section. Since all these specialists are here together, they really try to exchange ideas, come up with other questions, and this comment section might be the ideal place for you to also source some additional content that you can talk about. So definitely check it out on Reddit, search within the keywords, maybe within the keywords you might already find some interesting questions. Then from the keywords on, find interesting subreddits, go to those subreddits, find questions that have a lot of upvotes and a lot of comments, and definitely subscribe to those subreddits, because then you will get notifications. It will also be shown in your feed if there are other interesting posts. So check it out, it will be a very, very interesting source of information. The next platform that we often use to source ideas for our content is Quora. Quora is a question platform. People just come there to ask a question and other people will just answer that specific question. So similar to subreddits, Quora has spaces. These are the communities on subreddit where you can apply the same kind of techniques that we talked about for Reddit. You can do the same thing for Quora. But we are gonna see how we can use this search answer type of posts to come up with cool content ideas. So in Quora, we will now look for marketing again, and we will see here a lot of different questions about marketing. The only downside here is that you cannot really sort these questions. But what you can do is that you can already see the amount of follows that a question has. A follow means that a person clicked the follow button and he wanted to be kept up to date if someone provides a new answer. What I do is I sometimes just scrape the entire list of questions and then sort it based on the amount of people that follow it. So I already have an idea of the questions that have the most follows. It might give you a good idea of these questions, but there's also a nice thing that you can do, that if you go to the three dots that are after the question, you can click on the see more information, and there you can really see the stats and the log information, how many people visited this topic, how many views of this topic in the last week and month. So also interesting information you have there. But now I'm going to show you something different. We can also use the Quora Ad Manager to come up with a lot of topics. So the cool thing is, once you start advertising on Quora, if you type in a certain keyword, they will tell you which questions are interesting to target. And they will even give you the insight of the amount of weekly views that there are on that specific question. That makes it a lot easier for you. You don't have to do the search, go through multiple pages, scrape all the followers, click on all the dots to see the logs and the analytics. With this ad manager, they will just find the most valuable and interesting ones for you. So you can go to the ads manager, so you will have to create an ads manager, just create it. You don't have to put any ads live, just make the ad account. You will have to fill in some steps until you reach a point where you can select keywords as a targeting. So you will do question-based targeting. You can fill in some keywords and then Quora will suggest you some questions that you can use for your targeting. Cool thing is there you immediately see the amount of views it has. So instead of using this to actually advertise, we will use this information to come up with interesting topic ourselves, interesting content ourselves that we will produce on LinkedIn. If you even want some more stuff to write about, just write down these questions, check out these questions on Quora, see what people are answering, and you can really source that information to write your own successful LinkedIn post. Then the third one that we want to talk about to give you some inspiration is Facebook. Yeah, I think Facebook, most of you are already known with Facebook, so we're not going to dive too much into that, but what I would advise you there is to be part of a lot of Facebook groups. It has a bit the same feel to it as a subreddit, where people are just posting things, other people can start commenting on it. So be there present in those Facebook groups to see what are people talking about, which topics are hot, and what are they saying about it, because this might source you some information of valuable stuff that you can use in your LinkedIn post. So that was it for inspiration. Let's move on to the next phase. We're gonna show you the content model that we're using to really generate quality leads. A mistake that a lot of people make is that they create a long piece of content, but they only use it once. They share it once in a newsletter or maybe on Facebook and LinkedIn, and that's it. Then it dies out. But there's so much more that you can do with this piece of content. No piece of content is limited to a single use. So for example, you made a comprehensive blog post, a very long piece of content. You can actually squeeze out a lot of other type of content, a lot of micro content out of it. Some really simple things that you could do is that you make a carousel, like a slider on LinkedIn. It's like a multiple page PDF, but it looks really, really fancy on LinkedIn. That carousel, that sums up the ideas of your blog post. That's already a new piece of content. If you have that long form post, that blog post, cut it up in 6, 7, 8 different parts. And every part, just rephrase it a bit, put a bit of a story in there, like I told you earlier, and really use that one as another LinkedIn post on your feed. You can always, at the end of your post, in the description, link to the original blog post so you will have traffic to your website. Another idea is to just shoot a video of that blog post. If it's a long post, maybe you can even shoot 3 videos of that one where you talk about what's happening in that blog post. That's also one of the tactics that we're using. If you check this video, there will probably also be a blog post that talks about the exactly same content. Another last tip that I can give you is to create an infographic. People really love visual things. People are visual learners. So create also some infographics that show instead of explain what you wanna tell to your audience. Another thing that you can do, and this is something that will really boost your content creation, is that you film everything. That if you're hosting a workshop, if you're having an interview, whatever, film this content. And maybe if it's 60-minute content, there will be a 1-minute video that you can extract. Maybe 30 seconds there, maybe 2 minutes there. So there will be a lot of valuable content in there that you can repurpose for LinkedIn, that you can repurpose for Instagram stories, but you won't have this content if you're not recording it. So really try to document instead of create, to say it with the words of the famous Gary Vaynerchuk. What we will also advise you is if you have this raw video, what could be funny there is to make GIFs. So really small animations out of this raw footage. You can even go smaller and take photographs of this raw footage, put a quote in it, and now again, it's a new piece of content you can share on LinkedIn or on Facebook. So these are just a couple of ideas that you can do with one piece of content starting from your blog post. So we created actually a map for you to make it a bit more tangible, to make it very easy for you to understand. And the concept is you start with one very big piece of content and you will just tear it down until you almost have nothing left. You will just have all the different types and bits in there in all these different formats. So this is the plan that we have. This is something that you will also be able to find here in the description below. This is really how we can help you structure it for your company. So you start always with your pillar content, you will bring it down through some micro content, start repurposing it one time, and then you can even repurpose it a second time. I'm not going through the entire reverse pyramid here. You will be able to see it in the link in the description. We have a bit of content written about that. Download this, print it, put it on your wall, and go through it every time you do a single piece of content. So please, please, please never do that again. Never just write a blog post, distribute it once, and don't do anything with it. So please promise me that, guys. So that was it for this video on LinkedIn content creation. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely don't forget to record everything. You will find some very interesting pieces of content in all the things that you're doing. So record it. If you record it, you can edit it and take some interesting things out of there. Really interesting. Don't forget to repurpose your content. And last of all, don't forget to check the description. We have some really interesting stuff in there, some other blog posts that will be interesting for you. And we even wrote a book that you might be or might not be able to find in the comment section below. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. We're posting a lot of more content like this. I really enjoyed talking about this topic. So if you have some feedback for me, feel free to drop it down in the description and we will see you in the next video. See you soon.